welcome everybody. Today we are going to be doing a virtual student panel because a lot of you had tours or a day in the life that you were going to come to, but many of them got canceled. All of them got canceled from here on out. And so we wanted to be able to do something for you that missed, or for any student that's interested in the business school, for anybody that misses us, anybody. We just wanted to say hi, hop on here and help you get to know some of our students a little bit better. We also saw that during a day in the life, the student panel was one of the favorite things. So we didn't want you guys to miss out on the opportunity. So my name is Shelby Eggers. I will be mediating this student panel. But I'm a business ambassador at the Huntsman School of Business, and I'm in business administration. I'm a junior this year, and I absolutely love Utah State. So now we're going to meet Meredith.
Hi guys, my name is Meredith Richards. I am a junior this year at Utah State, originally from upstate New York, and I am studying marketing with minors in information systems and multimedia development.
And now Kiley.
Hi, I'm Kiley Mozingo. I am from Cache Valley, and I am a freshman this year at Utah State, and I'm studying accounting in the business school.
And then Sami.
Hi, I'm Sami Ahmed. I'm originally from Ethiopia, so I was born and raised in Africa. I'm in the business school studying finance, senior, and I'm involved with student government at Utah State. So yeah, it's a little bit about me.
And then Kason.
My name is Kason Eggers, and I am a business administration major. I am a junior, and my minor is in human resources. When I grew up, I want to go into HR. I am also a business ambassador.
Awesome. Well, now you know our panelists a little bit better. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them on our YouTube channel and we'll get them answered for you. We're also going to do a Amazon gift card giveaway for anybody that asks questions. So we have two $50 Amazon gift cards. So please ask questions. So the first question that we're going to start off with is, why did you choose the major that you chose? And any of you go ahead and answer.
I can go ahead and start. Again, my major is marketing. I knew I wanted to be in the business school. When I toured Utah State, I absolutely fell in love with all the opportunities there. And I didn't necessarily know which business major I wanted to go in. We have 7 different business majors. So I kind of just chose marketing because I knew it was creative and had to do a lot with working with people. So that's why I initially chose it. But when you start school at the Huntsman School of Business, all business majors have to take like 2 finance courses, 2 econ courses, 2 accounting courses. So I knew that no matter what, I would be taking those courses. And then if I did want to switch into another major, I could very easily. So I took all those classes. I took the marketing classes, and then marketing kind of just stuck. So that's where I'm at right now, and I absolutely love it.
Awesome.
Okay, I can go next. So the reason why I chose the business school is when I arrived at Utah State, I was actually like a science major, a biology or and chemistry major. So I mentioned earlier I'm from Ethiopia. So being an immigrant or coming from an immigrant family, we had no idea about money or anything like that. So I just thought like rich people got paid more per hour. So if you're a lawyer, you got paid like $200 per hour. I had no idea what like salaries were. I had exactly zero understanding. So I decided to take an econ class from a professor named Chris Fossen, and he talked about a lot of like just business concepts. And that was the first time I've ever heard of like investing and money growing over time and planning for retirement. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can make money with just money? Like, that's crazy. This is where I got to be, forget chemistry. So that's kind of why I joined. And I've been happy ever since. Not sure if I'll be in business for my career, but I think business degree probably will be more helpful for me navigating, I guess, future opportunities. So it also taught me how to take advantage of opportunities. So that's why I joined, just because I like money and they talk my language.
Awesome.
I can go. Cool. So I am doing business administration, like I said before. So something that you guys should all know is that business administration no longer exists for those who are coming into the school. They've now recently changed it to a management degree. So if you're wondering what kind of falls underneath business administration, that's what you should look for. But the reason why I chose that is because there's a minor in human resources that fits well with that major. So since I'm going to go into human resources, that was kind of the pathway that I chose. And the reason why I chose HR is because I have a very entrepreneurial spirit, business mind, and I also care for people. And so I thought HR is the right way to go.
I can go. So I kind of chose my major in like a roundabout kind of a way. My mom has like always told me when I was like growing up that I'd be a great accountant, but I was like, that is so boring. Like, why would I want to do that? And then I took an accounting class in high school and I absolutely loved it. And it just fit my personality and I loved numbers and just like being able to figure out budgets and stuff like that. It does sound boring, but it's actually a lot of fun. And so that's how I chose my major.
Awesome. Well, as you can see, a business degree can fit anyone for any reason, whether it's just the money side of things, whether it fits our personality, anything you want, you can see that business can fit into your life. So our first question is from Emily, and it says, does my academic presidential scholarship transfer to the business school? So our business ambassadors, you'll be able to help us a little bit better with these kind of questions.
Yes, I'll take it. Yes, it does. So I actually have a scholarship and it's a transfer scholarship. I originally came from Snow College and so I transferred here and I too have a scholarship and it works in the business school. So yeah, you're good.
If you have any questions with that, don't be afraid to contact the school to make sure that everything is clear, because we would rather have you double check and have all the right answers than have something slip between the cracks. So don't be afraid to call the school. They'll patch you through to the right person that you need to talk to. Okay, the next question is from Autumn, and it says, do students from the business school ever do the research fellowship?
I just got to unmute. So if you're asking just, I guess, research in general or a fellowship in general, within the business school, I was actually part of what's called the CGO fellowship. That's kind of a great opportunity to do research along the lines of different business topics, economics topics, or it could even be a random topic that can relate to how the world works. So you kind of have a lot of flexibility within it. You actually get a scholarship or a stipend with it as well. So I've had opportunities to do research within the business school, and it's not like you're only doing finance research. You can do any type of research and just apply it to the world you're kind of involved in. So there's that opportunity I'm aware of. There might be others.
The other great thing about CGO is your name stays on the research. So whether you're helping a professor with the research or you're just doing the research, your name's always going to stay on it. Your name's not going to get put in the bottom or whatever. Like if you do the work, it'll be on there for sure. Okay, our next question is from Meredith, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to throw one other thing in. So CGO stands for Center of Growth and Opportunity. And that's actually an office within the business school in Huntsman Hall. And so you would apply for that, and that's how you would get into that. But that's kind of just what that stands for, that CGO is the Center for Growth and Opportunity.
Great, thanks. Okay, so from Morgan, it says, can you tell us about the SEED program?
I can jump on this. I actually went to the Philippines this past summer with the SEED program. For those of you who don't know, the SEED program is an international internship opportunity. There are multiple locations offered: the Philippines, Dominican Republic, Ghana, I think there's a fourth one. Guatemala. And so you go and you help kind of break the poverty cycle. You teach basic business principles to small business owners. So for example, one of my clients, her name was Den Buenavista, and she owned a leg prosthetic and arm orthotic company. And we helped redo her marketing. We built her website, redid her social media, and helped her get new clients. So super cool opportunity. The school gives you a stipend that typically covers housing and flights. And then you can pay for like any additional travel. So we traveled, we went to waterfalls and whatnot on the weekends, but super cool, super fun opportunity. And it allows you to apply what you learned inside the classroom, outside of the classroom. Totally recommend it.
Awesome. Okay, our next question is, what is your favorite part of being a Huntsman student?
I can start. Sorry, I feel like I'm jumping in here. My favorite part of being a Huntsman student is we pride ourselves in what's called the Huntsman difference, which talks about the inside the classroom experience paired with the outside the classroom opportunity. And like I said before, I'm from upstate New York, and there's a ton of colleges and universities around here. And I went on a lot of college tours, but I felt like there was always like just a huge focus on academics, which is obviously very, very important at the Huntsman School. But when I took a tour, the ambassador who took me on a tour promised me that if I attended the Huntsman School, I would leave with not only good academic background, but a packed resume. And so, you know, when you graduate, everyone gets a diploma with a similar degree on it. And then what's going to set you apart are those things you do outside of the classroom. So whether it's, you know, the student association or getting involved in intramurals, or there's like a marketing association, a finance and econ club, there's something for all interests inside and outside of the business school. So that's my favorite part of being a Huntsman student, are the many, many opportunities.
Great, thanks so much.
I can jump in too. Like along with Meredith, what I really like is what I'm learning inside the business school is like helping me within my job. I work at a local company here in the Valley, and like I'm starting to do a little bit of accounting things, and like any task that they give me, I can take skills that I'm learning in the Huntsman School and apply it to what I'm doing at work. And so it's just really cool to like build, like Meredith said, those outside the classroom skills to help pack your resume and be able to become a more well-rounded student and eventually a citizen in.
I just want to jump on this as well. I think my favorite thing about the Huntsman School is it kind of taught me different ways to succeed. When you get to college, there's the typical, like, you got to get good grades, you got to be the top of your class, then, you know, you'll get the best offers. But I think the value that I saw in the Huntsman School is you can find creative ways to get to the top. You can find the same path by connecting with others, learning how to grow your social network. So down the line, if you're ever interested in a different thing, you will know someone in that area. And I think that's kind of something that's underrated when it comes to success. And that's kind of what it's taught me. If you guys, you know, sat down with me and met me, you might be like, this is a student body president. He's kind of dumb. But I've learned how to just kind of go through and meet people and network and say, okay, I have an interest in this. So this is the traditional way, but I might not fit that. So I'm going to go talk to this person and, you know, or give them the resume or how to approach people. So if you're the type of student who might not be the top of your class or whatever, you'll still can get the best offers or land in any company you want. You'll just learn how to kind of navigate that. So I've been super happy with that, and I have a lot of gratitude towards the school for teaching me how to be a good opportunist as well as a good student.
That's not true. Sami is so smart and he's awesome. So he's not giving himself enough credit. Well, Aubrey, thank you so much for that awesome question. Our next question is from Clarissa, and it says, what's the best major and career for an inquisitive, ambitious, introverted leader who wants to make a wide impact and do humanitarian work? Awesome question, Clarissa. In fact, that's such a good question that I want you to shoot me an email. I'll leave it in the comments, and you definitely won one of the $50 Amazon gift cards. So thanks so much for such a great question. Now you guys go ahead and answer.
You know, I'll take this one. I think it's really hard for us to kind of say like, this is what you should do. But I will say that we are actually trying to create a quiz currently, a way to figure out like your career path and our end. So just wait a couple more months and we get this type of quiz out so you can kind of help choose your major. But for now, you don't really have to worry about it. Your first 2 years are just getting those acumen classes so you can figure it out for yourself. There might be some things that you naturally might gravitate towards and just look at that. But it's kind of hard for us to kind of say, hey, this is what you should be doing in life. You kind of need to search it out for yourself, and you have plenty of time to do that. And there's resources, there's career advisors that are here to help you, and they have their own programs that can help you narrow down your skill set and what fits you best.
Great. So we're actually going to go on to our next question. Awesome. So this is from Abigail, and it says, have you had the opportunity to participate in any internships?
Yeah, I've had an opportunity, and kind of tying back with the last question. So my internship actually had nothing to do with any of my, I guess, field of study. One of my professors, his name is VJ Khan, and he was an advisor. He walked in and said, "Hey, do you want to write a case study for a master's class on a supply chain?" And I was like, "Okay, great. I guess I'll go do it. I have nothing to do that summer." So I went to OC Tanner. It's a big like awards company for like company performance, whatever. If you get an award, it most likely came from OC Tanner. So I was there writing a case study for master students about supply chain. As I was learning about what supply chain was, I'll literally read the definition, and then I'll say, "So tell me about this idea of a single streamlined unit. What does that mean to you?" And then I'm like, "Okay, keep writing that. Just they don't know who you are yet." So I thought it was cool. I learned about that, and it had exactly zero to do with what I was studying, but it was a different part of it. So there'll be opportunities like that, and I was happy about it.
That's so cool. Meredith, go ahead.
So I already kind of briefly talked about my internship last summer in the Philippines through the SEED program. And this upcoming summer, I will be an intern with General Mills. They're a food company. You probably know them from like Cheerios and whatnot. So I'll be doing the North American retail sales internships. But I just wanted to put a quick plug in here for the Management for Success at Utah State. Something really unique about the business school is that we have career coaches right inside of the building at Huntsman Hall in the business building. And so they just have a ton of connections up there. Like if you want an internship, if you need an internship, you go up to them, get to know them. They have a long list of connections and people they know that are hiring. So ton of connections there, and you will get an internship if you go talk to them.
Yeah, the Huntsman School is huge on networking, and so if you're looking for something, you'll definitely find it here. Our next question is from Connor, and it says, are there avenues, from McKay, what has been the biggest impact on your lives by studying at the Huntsman School?
I'll go for it. Kind of similar to what Kiley talked about. I think the biggest impact is what you do learn in the class, you actually apply. Like you don't feel like you're in a class just to take a class for a degree. You're actually like learning something you're going to apply. So like, for example, I'm doing an internship this summer as well with Autoleave in Ogden, and it's an HR internship. And they were asking me these questions of projects they'd like me to do. And I could honestly say, yeah, I can do that because in my classes, we actually did this certain project already. There's a lot of good opportunities that you do have in the business school where they give you these projects or case studies or different things like that, that really, you really do feel like you're getting a good education and you're not just here just because you have to do that in life. Like you're actually getting something worth your money.
Awesome. Okay, from James, it says, what are your most effective strategies for studying?
I guess mine is getting out of a place that I use for relaxation. So like I like to have my bedroom and apartment. That's like my me time. That's where I eat. That's where I sleep. That's where I hang out with friends. So getting to a place, if possible, like the library or Huntsman Hall or any other favorite study place is really effective for me because that's my time to study. And then when I come home, that's my time to be home.
Awesome. Kiley, do you have anything?
I was going to say, I fully agree with Meredith.
Nice.
That is exactly how I feel.
I got one. What I like to do is you'll get an app called Canvas and there's like a to-do list. If there's anything on the to-do list, I just start working on it. So even if it's like due like in a week, I'll work on it. So then that way I never feel overwhelmed, because if friends want to hang out, I can just pick up and go hang out because this time it's really not due for another week ahead. So if you're always ahead of your work, it really frees you up. It's really hard to be disciplined, but it's possible. That's what I do.
Just one thing on studying. I think it's also important knowing who you are and kind of what works with you. When you get to college, you'll see a lot of great people who have their own regiment, and sometimes it doesn't work for you. And, you know, I don't mean to contradict anything that was said, but like personally for me, I work a lot better under pressure. So I don't recommend it at all. Like, it's a stressful situation, but my life is more like 5 weeks of play and 2 weeks of stress. And why am I here? But I get the job done. So, but that's kind of what it's always been for me, even from high school. So also understanding that is good. I try to get on top of things as well, but just knowing that, like, don't fall into the temptation of like, you know, Shelby's doing every day for 5 hours. I got to do 5 hours every day as well, or else, you know, that kind of stuff. So.
Awesome. Great advice, everyone. Okay, so the next question is from Ashlyn. It says, what is the best advice you received as a freshman?
So I kind of touched on this a little bit, but I went to a Focus Friday. So every Friday, business students don't have classes, and instead there's a supplemental workshop offered. And I don't remember who was speaking, but the person essentially said, you know, 4 years from today, you're going to be walking across the stage and getting handed a piece of paper that has your name and your degree on it. And on that same day and weeks surrounding that, thousands and thousands of other college students across the world will be doing the same exact thing, similar stage, similar piece of paper. So you need to build your resume, get a lot of extracurriculars on your resume. And that just really stood out to me because obviously a college degree is very important, but it will, you know, a lot of people will have that. So it's what can set you apart.
That's great advice. And the Focus Fridays, not having school on Fridays in the business school is awesome, or not classes, but the Focus Fridays are the coolest events, and they're only an hour long. So if you're like, oh, I just wanted a long weekend, you only have to go for an hour and you still get away the long weekend. So like, take advantage of the Focus Fridays because you learn some amazing things and some pretty big opportunities come up if you go. Okay, so Kason, go ahead.
Real quick, with the Focus Fridays, with the way the world's going right now, we're actually doing them virtually. So you can actually go on our YouTube channel, that's this one right here, and you can chime in. Like, there's one tomorrow. So you're for sure invited to all our Focus Fridays the rest of the semester because obviously you can access it.
Awesome. Okay, so this one is for Meredith. So if anybody wants to chime in too, but Meredith, Abby is wondering, is there a creative side to marketing?
Yes, absolutely. I think when you think of marketing, there are a lot of different avenues you can go down. There's digital marketing, different sides of marketing, but every single company has marketing. They put out ads, they put out videos. So absolutely, there's a creative side to marketing. There's also studying how the consumer works. So I took a class called Consumer Behavior, where we studied how people make decisions. And so that does kind of play into the creative side of it, because then you can start thinking, oh, if people think this way, how can I create a product or marketing material that will make them think a certain way? So yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. Okay, from Paul, how is the relationship between students and faculty members? Any tips to foster relationships between students and teachers?
I think that's probably the most important thing that the school does is the accessibility of professors, specifically in the Huntsman School. They're all there to help you. Like, I have, I think 5 or 6 professors. I have their cell phone and I text them about different things. In fact, right after this, I'm going to go meet with Chris Fossen that I met my freshman year, but I'm going to go meet with him because I'm stuck on a homework project that I haven't done in a couple weeks. So they're all there for you. They all support you. I've had professors like Paul Felstead who came at like 10 p.m. to help me get ready for an interview I had with a company. He just left his family and is like, I'll come and help you. So we're in the lab figuring out potential questions. So they're there for you. And I've never once felt like I cannot approach any of the professors. And some of them, they can be really good friends with you to the point where you can just call them and say, hey, I'm really looking for this type of a job. Do you know anyone? And you don't have to do the formal professor-student kind of, I guess, greeting or process or whatever. So the professors here are amazing. I don't think I would have made it if they didn't have those types of professors.
So true. I
I
completely
want to
agree.
jump in real quick.
Yeah.
So when I took my connections class, my connections like leader person told me that, like, told our group that the best thing to do is, like, on the first day of classes, just after class is over, just go up, shake hands with the professor, and just introduce yourself to just like make that first step forward. And it just kind of shows that you're going to be engaged in the class and that you're always going to be like active, and that if you ever have questions, the professor already had that like first contact with you. So then it makes breaking the ice a little bit easier.
So true. Okay, so the next question is from Carter, and it says, can you tell me more about the entrepreneurship minor?
Sure, I can take that one. All right, Kason, are you gonna take it?
No, you're good. You do. I was just gonna make up, like, not make up. I was gonna say it's the most popular minor in the business school, but that's all I know. So
Yeah. So it's the most popular minor in the business school. I know a lot of people who actually complete it in one summer. I don't know the exact number of credits, but I know it's not a whole lot. It's through the Center for Entrepreneurship, which is an office inside the business school. That's also the same office that the SEED internship is out of, that international experience. A lot of people that aren't in the business school actually take that minor. Like Kason said, it's the most popular one. So I know people from all different colleges who take it. I took one of the classes in preparation for my internship, and we learned about kind of business models and building a business plan. So I know it's a great and popular minor. I haven't had any personal experience with it, but the people in the office are great and they have a lot of knowledge. So I'd assume it's a great minor.
Awesome. Okay, so from Aubrey, it says, what do you plan on doing with your degrees after college? Kason, why don't you take this one?
Okay. So this is a good and a hard question. So like I said, I'm going into human resources, and I don't know quite yet which avenue I want to do in it, but my plan is to be like a chief human resources officer or a senior HR director. But my plan is to do HR and to see where that takes me still. And that's the great part, is that you can have a semi-plan, kind of know what avenue you want to go up against, and you can still figure that out, what exactly you do want to do.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything to add?
Sure, I'll hop in here. So I'll be doing sales. It's kind of a mixture of sales, marketing, and data analytics with General Mills this summer. And so depending how that goes, might go full-time with them after graduation. But I'm part of a program called Pro Sales. I'm actually repping the polo right now. It's a sales organization, and they have a lot of connections and a lot of career fair opportunities and networking opportunities. So I'm hoping to build my network and then hopefully have many different opportunities after.
Okay. I guess for me, I'm planning, I love history. That's actually my favorite thing. So right now I'm deciding between going into some type of like security advisor, national security, those kind of things, more government oriented job, or medicine. So I've been doing pre-med classes as well. So I think I like debating and different politic issues around the world, I guess global issues more so. So I've been accepted into a program that's kind of more geared towards that. So I'm exploring that. So we'll see. Or I'll do a finance job if none of those things interest me.
Awesome. Okay, so the next question is from Jackson. It says, how do you go from a broad major like management or marketing to decide on a specific career?
I think a lot of times it comes down to the specific role in a company. For example, a digital marketing specialist could look a lot different at a small startup opposed to a Fortune 500 company. So I think in terms of narrowing down, it really comes down to the specific company. And once you interview with them or job shadow with them, I find it's a lot easier to narrow down what you like and don't like. I've had the opportunity to go on a couple job shadows, and a sales role at one organization will look a lot different than a sales role at another. So I think rather than the title of the specific field that you're going into, it's more about the specific company.
I agree. I also think, I'm just going to chime in here. I also think that as a freshman, it's kind of scary because you feel like you have to decide everything right there, but you have 3 more years after that to decide. And the thing is, just being involved in the classes and seeing what you like. I mean, I came in as a finance major. No, I do not like finance anymore at all. I mean, it's a great major, but I just realized that like it does not fit for me anymore. And so just getting into classes and testing more out. So I like took a bunch in high school, accounting classes in high school. I took some at the college that I was at before. And now here I took some and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to go into finance. I don't want to go into accounting, just because I realized that I've changed as I've gotten older and seen more things. And now I'm going into recruiting and events because I just realized that like the people aspect is so important to me that I don't want to be behind a desk or anything like that kind of a thing. So just being in classes and seeing what it's going to be like kind of a thing is also going to help a lot. Great question. Okay, the next question is from Emily. It says, so I'm interested in HR also. Does that mean I have to graduate with a major in management and then graduate with a minor in human resources, or is it a 2-in-1 thing?
Good question. So you luckily have a good opportunity right now that they did change the major from business administration to management, and management has different emphases. I don't know how you say that, but one of them is human resources. So essentially, if you do get that degree, which is in management with emphasis in human resources, you complete that course, then you do have it. If you, for some reason, don't want to take that avenue, there are other ways outside of the business school, but then later you have to go into the master's program here at Utah State in order to get that HR part of it. But honestly, come here to the business school and try out this new major. It looks like a lot of fun. I wish I could do it.
Awesome. Okay, Caitlin said, how has knowing about finance and business helped, if at all, during this pandemic?
Can you repeat that
Yeah.
one more time?
How has knowing about finance and business helped, if at all, during this pandemic?
Personally, I remember one of the advices of one of my finance professors. He was saying, like, when it looks like the world is going to hell and markets are dropping and everything, that's when you need to buy and things like that, because finance sometimes is not intuitive. You might have to do things that are against like the natural reaction you'd have as a person. So like just watching the markets alone, like for someone that's a poor college student that wants to get into investing, it was awesome, because like you watch Delta dropping and you're like, they were at $60 per share, now they're at 20. I could definitely get some Delta shares, and I'm 20 or 21, or in my case 24. So even if this investment doesn't work out, I'm not retiring until 60. So like that was a great way to see different trends, or even just predicting like which is hard and most people can't do it, but just realizing like, okay, how long does this go on? Should I invest now? Should I open this type of account? Just, it was awesome for me. It was a good way to learn without having to, spend a whole lot of money that you would have needed to in order to get into investing back like 3 months ago, when everything was like a lot, $100 or more or something to get into shares. So it was awesome. Like it was a great experience for me and a couple of my friends.
That's awesome. Okay, Anna said, what was your favorite class that you have taken towards your business degree? Which would you recommend taking first?
This is a hard one. There's a lot of good ones. I loved my intro to marketing class with Professor Eric Schultz. He's a very dynamic guy, very successful in the marketing world. I think it's a required class for everyone, so you'll take it anyway, but look forward to that class. It's fun.
I guess my favorite class, it's usually around the professors. It's not so much the topic. So I'll talk about, I guess, the professor. His name is Ben Blau, and he was one of the first teachers of, like, I think it's Finance 3200. So that's like the first class you take. And I think I remember a lot of the time you'd say, don't worry about the grade, we're just going to talk about this. And sometimes you'll pick a topic on like CNBC and you'll talk about it for 45 minutes and you'll say like, oh crap, forgot to get into this. We'll do it next time. But so that kind of just built a natural like love for some of the topics we were talking about. And because he kept hammering, don't worry about the grade you're going to get, just worry about this. You literally, after a while, were like, okay, I'm learning a lot more than I expected. Because in most of your classes, you're going to be like, okay, that's great, but what do I need for an A? Is that going to be on the test? No? Okay, I don't care. Let's go with what's on the test. So I think Ben was the first one who kind of hammered that point, like learn about the topic and I'll make the test hard, but I'll also be fair. So that was awesome.
Awesome. Okay, so this is a question for Kiley. Are you looking to get a CPA? If so, how do the teachers and faculty members prepare you for that?
So to be honest with you, since I'm a freshman, I haven't gotten too far into the accounting world yet. I've only taken one class so far, and I honestly don't know what I want to get into. But I do know that there are, like everyone has said, there's career coaches, academic advisors, and like even your accounting professors. Like you can talk to any of them and they can help you figure out what path you want to go down. And I'm hoping that like next year as I start taking more accounting classes, I'll know exactly what path of accounting I want to go down. But yeah, hopefully that helps.
From Lane, sorry. From Lane, how have you found a balance between studying, working, and socializing?
It's tough. I think that's one of the biggest things you need to figure out once you get here. And I think when we were talking about study techniques and how Sami was saying it's different for everyone, I think that balance is different for everyone too, and finding out what works best for you. So I think all of us have a job, obviously school, and involved in extracurriculars, and finding what's most important to you and where you want to put your time. It was my first year here when I was a freshman, I was putting a lot of time into getting an A, and not necessarily enjoying my free time. I was always kind of just thinking about getting an A in the class. Once I stepped back and realized what I wanted to get out of college, which was the full college experience, grades and all in the social life, I was able to accept the fact that I didn't have to get an A in every class, but I could spend more time in the extracurriculars. So I think it's a great question. It's a tough question because it comes down to really just figuring it out for yourself and figuring out how you want to spend that time.
I'll add to this too. So my first round of my college, I had, social life, your school and your homework, and I also had 3 jobs. And I don't know why I decided to do 3 jobs, but sometimes you have to say yes to everything. But if it's to a point where you feel stressed or overloaded, it's okay to say no to some things. Like obviously have an open mind, but there was a point where I feel like I was never home. My roommates noticed because I was always out at the library or I was working, and it just wasn't a good, healthy balance for me personally. So it's okay to reevaluate what you're doing and to maybe have to stop a few things. So I quit a few jobs just so that way it was better for me and my health.
For me personally, my first year of college, I was on a bunch of intramural teams, and intramurals at Utah State is like a huge thing. So don't be afraid to join an intramurals team because they're awesome. But so I was on a bunch of intramurals teams, and it was like my stress reliever and my social. So I had a job, I was a tutor, and then I had a full class loads. So it was really stressful sometimes, but then being able to go out and play a sport and socialize, it like relieved all of it kind of thing. So sometimes like finding 2 in 1 is a good idea of being able to like have a stress reliever and socialize at the same time. So just kind of find what works for you. You'll figure it out. Okay, our next question is from Drew, are there outside company sponsors associated with the seed program, or is it just USU?
So the seed program in the Philippines and Dominican Republic is through what's called Mentors International. So you go into the office there. However, in one of the other locations, the Dominican, they work with Operation Underground Railroad in one of them. So depending on the location, you'll be working with either Mentors International, Operation Underground Railroad, or another one. So those are kind of the organizations associated with it, I guess. And just one other thing about that seed program is it actually was just ranked the #1 most innovative program in the nation. So that's a really cool fun fact about it. So they're getting more recognition, but in terms of it being sponsored or partnered with other organizations, those are the only two that I know of.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so we have about 20 minutes left, so we're gonna try and get through as many questions as we can. If we don't get through all of your questions, I'm gonna leave my email in the comments, and so go ahead and shoot me an email if you have any questions, and I will try and get you an answer, okay? Okay, our next question is from Emily, and it says, how many classes do you suggest taking a semester?
The key that most people tell freshmen coming in is aim for 15 credits a semester. If you take 15 credits a semester from start to finish, that will get you graduated by the time you need to. But that depends on how many majors, how many minors, if you end up switching inside, outside of the business school or within the business school. So I typically try to take somewhere, 12 is a full credit student, full-time student. So usually around 15 is that sweet spot, but make sure you check with your advisor to see what works best for you.
It also depends on, oh, sorry, Sami, go ahead.
You can go ahead and I can make my comment after.
Okay. It also depends on how fast you want to do it too. For me, I've loved college, but I've wanted to start the next chapter of my life as soon as I can. So I have been taking full like 18 credits every single semester to try and get done as fast as I can. So it just depends on you too.
Yeah. And the point I wanted to add is at Utah State, there's this thing called a tuition plateau. So 12 credits to 18 credits cost the exact same money. So freshman year is a great time to take advantage of that because most of your generals and stuff are going to be the exact same price, whether you're taking 12 or 18 credits. So, I mean, you can find the balance there. In the business school, it might be a little different, but the first 2 years, if you're paying the exact same money, why not just get rid of it as soon as you can? So it makes the school lose money, but they care about you.
Okay, so from Nicole, it says, how was your transition from Snow College to Utah State? Are the classes pretty similar? So Kason, you're the only one that can answer this.
Yes, sorry. I was laughing at what Sami said. What was the question again?
How has your transition from Snow College to Utah State? Are the classes pretty similar?
Okay. Yeah. So so the transition, it's different. I mean, this is the best way to explain it. And it's kind of hard to understand because I don't even understand this either. But let's say two kids, complete opposite personalities, but you love them both equally. That's a simple way to explain Utah State to Snow College and the transition. And so it's a little transition, but the nice part is you already have down like professors, classes, what type of work it's gonna look like in college. And you'll find that Utah State does work at a different level as far as networking goes, career choice, and just helping you out. And I've really enjoyed it personally. And I have really felt a big boost and more of a direction in my career path. And as far as like class sizes, it's been fairly the same. It's too bad that we can't show you guys, but if you go on our website, you'll see the pictures of our classes and they're this U-shaped, which is actually very similar to the U-shape that you actually see at Snow. Oh, Meredith has it. If you look at Meredith's screen on there, that's kind of what our classes look like. And the biggest class we have is 80 people, but I've never had a class that big. It's probably been 50 max. And that still may sound a lot coming from Snow College, but it doesn't feel like a lot. It just feels like you're in high school again almost. But yeah, it's the similar feel as you would at the business school at Snow College with the U-shaped, and it's great. It's fun, and you'll be fine. It's a good transition.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so from Clara, it says, I want to get really involved while at USU. How would you suggest doing that as a freshman?
So I'll put a little plug here for Sami's thing, but there's something at the beginning of the school year called the Aggie Blue Leadership Conference. Great way to start your involvement at Utah State. It's offered the Monday and Tuesday before school starts, depending on how this whole COVID-19 thing goes, I guess. But there's the Aggie Blue Leadership Conference for that Monday and Tuesday, and then something called Connections for that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I was able to catapult my involvement by doing the Aggie Blue Leadership Conference, and then I joined President's Cabinet from that with the student body president at the time. And Sami could probably talk more about that, but that's what I would recommend doing.
Yeah, thanks Meredith for that. So I actually run Aggie Blue Conference, and most of the leaders I find at Utah State literally came from that pipeline. I wish I did it as a freshman, but I snuck in using other methods. But it's a great way to kind of meet older people. You'll get mentors that will be over like a group of you, like 10 of you. And you'll just go through different leadership exercises, get to see the campus. There'll be a dance at the end of it. So I'm kind of in the middle of planning that. So that's like August 24th and 25th. And a lot of the students, so I'm the student body president here, and a lot of the different clubs and stuff start recruiting from that event. So they'll come to at the beginning and say, hey, like this is this club, this is this club, these are the different organizations. So I do President's Cabinet. There might be the events office does different events, groups. The service center will have different, I guess, service volunteer opportunities you can do. So that's a great way to start off, and nobody else is on campus except the freshmen. So you'll get to kind of meet students that you'll kind of progress with as you go. So that's a great way. Also within the business school. So I started being involved within the business school. There's different scholarship opportunities. My first involvement came through, it doesn't exist anymore, but it's called Bueller Scholars. Basically you read a book, you get $500, and you discuss it every 2 weeks, and it was awesome. And there's similar, I know there's like Koch scholars, there's like Huntsman scholars, so there's other things within the business school as well. But the easiest way to transition would be through, I guess, the bigger involvement opportunities through the school.
Awesome. Okay, from Grace, it says, is it easy to switch between majors in the business school if you change your mind?
Yes. In theory, yes. In those first 2 years, 3 years, it is pretty simple. I mean, by your senior year, it might be a little bit challenging, but they all have fairly similar credits. But yeah, you'll figure out your career path and decide. It's okay to switch.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, every single business major has to take what we call the core curriculum of the business school. So you have to take a marketing class, a 2 econ, 2 finance, accounting. So if you take those, junior, senior year, you can switch depending what you've taken already. No problem.
Awesome. Okay, from Colton, it says, what has been your favorite student event? Sami, let's have you answer this one first.
My favorite student event. I think I like what's called Weeks of Welcome at Utah State. It's within the first 2 weeks of school. There's a bunch of parties. This year we had a Ferris wheel on the quad. You get to meet, again, the events office plans it, so there might be a concert, different types of games out on the quad. It's warm in Logan, so you won't be, gritting your teeth through like a November snow and, January. So it's a great way to see how beautiful the valley is, as well as just see a ton of students out on the quad doing the similar thing. So that's probably my favorite time, because you get to see how excited everyone is, and you get to see a bunch of freshmen that are just like out there enjoying everything. And then you see some seniors who are like, I'm a senior, I'm gonna go home. Yeah, so it's a great mix of just like fun atmosphere, and you get to see where everyone is in their college career as well, based on their reaction.
Awesome.
I'll jump in here. 2 of my favorite is the Howl and Bingo Night. So there's a giant bingo night every semester where they give away like Apple Watches, TVs, surfboards, like they give away big prizes, and it's free to go. You just have to get a ticket. And it's just hundreds of college students playing bingo, super fun. And then the other one is the Howl, which is a giant Halloween party. I think it's called the biggest party west of the Mississippi. My best friend freshman year flew out from New York to come, and she had a great time. So if that's your type of thing, it's a good time.
I personally like going to the sporting events here, particularly football, basketball, and hockey. Those are the popular ones. I think basketball is my most favorite to be a part of personally, but the student section and the school pride that we have here it's different. You'll never find it anywhere else. So you do come, look out for those sporting events, and it's a good time.
Really quick, funny story. So as a transfer student, I was like having a hard time. I'm like, oh, I don't feel like I fit in here. Like, oh, I don't know. But then I was at a basketball game and I was with my friend, and they started doing the Scotsman, which is our school song. And as soon as they started doing it and the whole stadium did it, it was like my first time watching it. And I like looked at my friend and we both were like, man, I just felt like a connection with the school. And he was like, I did too. And we both were like, wow, we just had that moment together, but separate. And it was with the school. It was like the funniest thing. And I think that sports events are always a party, because you never feel more like a true Aggie when you're at one of those events, just cheering your team on. It's really fun.
I was the friend, by the way. This is my wife. I feel like if you guys notice, there's Eggers here. We're in the same room, like house, but different rooms. Okay, so I was the friend. She met her husband.
Okay, the next question is, what would you recommend doing to succeed at the Huntsman School of Business and get the most out of it? From Jessica.
Can you repeat that? I missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll repeat it real fast. What would you recommend doing to succeed at the Huntsman School of Business and get the most out of it?
Just gonna hop on that. I think that's a great question, wanting to get the most out of it. I think kind of things we've touched on before, to reiterate them with this question, get involved, get to know your professors, and make sure you're staying on top of your schoolwork. And then making sure you're there to learn how to learn and not necessarily just caring about the grade, just kind of focusing on what you're getting out of the class, and not just getting that A.
I want to say something real quick. I think nothing too is you'll get what you put into it, right? So if you're gonna just kind of go to class and just kind of try not to be there, that's what you're gonna get as far as experience goes. Utah State literally gives you all the opportunity in the world to do something to get the best output. That makes sense. There's this big career fair that we have where we have like hundreds of companies come and literally try to network with you as you bring your resume and you're trying to get those early connections. But if you don't go to it, you can't take advantage of that, right? So make sure you're taking advantage of all the opportunities that the school does give you.
Awesome. Okay. This is from Brian Bertolio. So, for anyone, what is your favorite part about living in Logan?
I'll go. I like the college town feel and how everyone just kind of, I think most of the school lives around campus. So just knowing that like most of the people you associate with on campus are going to be right there close to where you're living. It's all going to be people around your age. I think that's my favorite part. Big cities tend to have like a commuter atmosphere where everyone lives in different suburbs and drives to the school, where Logan doesn't really have that feeling. I also love Logan in the summer and early fall, and I absolutely hate it during December and January, February when you're going through all that snow. But the people then make it worth it, and just the different, I guess, activities you can do. Just go up to Legacy Fields and there's a game going on. You can just join and nobody's going to be like, who are you? Go away. So that's awesome.
During December and January, it can be cold, but we do have a mountain, a local ski resort right up the canyon. So I snowboard. I took a 1-credit snowboarding class, and every Friday I just went up to the mountain and went snowboarding and got credit for it. So it's probably my favorite thing is everyone's always down to like go outside, go up the canyon, you know, whether it's just going up to go rock climbing. I've been to like movies in the woods where people just bring a little projector up, super fun, snowshoeing. People are just down to be outside and have a good time.
This is something a little bit more non-traditional, but Logan and Catchfly is an awesome community. So I'm a lacrosse coach for the local high school team at Logan High School. And so that's also a great way to get involved, to just look at the community around you that's maybe apart from the school, but it's been a great experience being a lacrosse coach. So I recommend that if you're into sports, looking at those different avenues with the high schools here.
Awesome. Okay, great comments. So we're going to have 2 more questions. And the first one is from Hiram, and it says, how often should I be meeting with my academic advisor?
I can pop in. I think it's really good to meet with them at least once every semester and do it kind of like earlier in the semester. So then when you're not trying to like cram for an appointment with your academic advisor later in the semester when everyone's trying to get an appointment with their advisor. And then they can help you plan out like your next semester's schedule and like literally everything you need. So I would say at least once a semester.
Also, if you have any questions that you just feel like you need to answer, my advisor at least answers my emails really quickly. And so if you just want to be like, okay, I don't want to make an appointment for this one question, you can just shoot them an email and they try to get back to you as fast as they can. So they're awesome. They're very helpful. All right, the last question, which I think is an awesome question. So you get the second $50 gift card to Amazon, is from Natalie, and it says, it was mentioned that Utah State has lots of opportunities to expand your resume and become a more well-rounded student. What kind of opportunities are there and how to find out about them?
I'll take a stab at this. So there's a lot of different opportunities. The main one that I know is for me is getting involved with the clubs that are kind of associated with your major. So I had a lot of good opportunities this spring, get ready for summer, to interviews for internships. And a lot of it, what stood out to them was I was part of the SHRM Club, which is the Society of Human Resources Management Club, right? And so the fact that I was more involved, that really stood out. So if you can find a club that fits your major, your direction, that can stand out to employers in a good way.
I can jump on this one too. So the TSC, which is the Student Center, that's where Sami pretty much lives. But the 3rd floor, which is also where his office is, he's there right now. If you go up to that floor, that's the Involvement Center. So you'll learn about it if you do Aggie Blue, but even if you don't get into one, like if you're not on the events committee or if you're not in Blue Crew or President's Cabinet, which are all different organizations and clubs, they're always looking for volunteers to set up events, clean up after events, and that's a great way to get involved, especially your first year. So if you just go up to that floor and just say, hey, I'm looking for involvement opportunities, anyone up there can help you out.
I just want to add to that as well. Throughout the year, you can kind of come up to the 3rd floor of the TSC and things change. So there's actually opportunities to join a program you might have not been able to join like during the first week when everyone is trying to join. So always coming up here is good. Also, if it's helpful, if Shelby's okay with it, I can also leave my email, or I'll give her my email and you can directly reach out to me and I'd be happy to help with that. The other thing I would say is look for opportunities that might not be the typical thing. One thing I learned about the business school, like through interviews I've had with companies and stuff, a lot of students at the end of their graduation or when they're looking for internship, you kind of tend to look similar, right? If I'm a finance major, everyone's going to be a finance major and take a bunch of classes on investing or whatever it is. So what gets brought up is the weird thing that you do. It's like, wait, why did you go get a job in like an intelligence thing? Like, what is that about? And then you talk about that and you're like, oh, I care about this and this, I care about security. And interviewers will remember you versus the 20 other finance people who said the exact same thing, like, oh, I love investing. So don't, like, diversify, I guess is what I'm saying, with the things that you do. So if you're a finance person, maybe go volunteer at like Best Buddies, or go to the service center here and work with refugees or whatever. So then you look unique, and they're gonna say, oh, she or he meets the requirement for this career. But I really like his or her point on X, Y, and Z. So don't get, I guess a good advice that I got was, don't get involved all in the same thing, because then you're just gonna be the exact same person as the next individual coming up. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available, and I'll be happy to help. I'm not the most entertaining guy, so I don't know exactly to be like, go join this program, but I'll be happy to help in a personal setting.
Awesome. Yeah, and go ahead and leave your email. That's great. Well, thank you guys so much for your questions. We loved getting to answer them, and thanks the students for being willing to answer your questions. So we're going to end today, and I'm just excited for you guys to become an Aggie, and I hope that you all decide to become part of the Huntsman School of Business and join our family. And thank you so much for joining. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.